What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday, so you know what time it is. Time for the Mock Draft Monday. This week, we're going to do a 12-team league, full PPR, and we'll take whatever spot 1 through 3 or 10 through 12, whichever it gives us in the randomization, given that we've done like a ton of the middle picks recently. So 11. We're going from the 11 pick this time. I thought what we would do is we've been doing quarterback high, wide receiver high. I figured one thing that maybe the Fantasy Pro system is not caught up to yet is rookies. So we're doing everything high. In this league, quarterbacks are going to be taken early. Wide receivers are going to be taken early because it's full PPR. Rookies are going to be taken very, very high. I'm hoping that bumps all those up to where they're typically being drafted right now, but we shall see. And then we're going to probably run with a generic setup. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end, defense, 6 bench. Last time we did full PPR, we did 3 wide receivers. I want to go back to 2 wide receivers in this one. So let us start things off again. Hopefully those changes will bump up some rookies so that it's not too easy. But maybe we can also institute a rule. I don't know. Yeah, why don't we do that? So let's say in the double-digit rounds, I'm only allowed to take 2 rookies. That way we can't just load up with all of our favorites late. You probably won't be able to do that once drafts really start rolling around. So only 2 rookies allowed in rounds 10 plus. It's a new rule we're instituting now. So, okay. I was looking, it looked like a lot of decent picks went early. It's unfortunate. Okay, so 11th overall. Bijan goes 101. Doesn't really matter. Bijan wouldn't have been available at our pick anyways, but it's Bijan, McCaffrey, Eckler, then Jefferson Chase, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Kupp, Tyreek, and then Travis Kelce. So we are on the clock. We're going to hide drafted players here. Here are our options. We are not going quarterback. At running back, we are also not going to do that. Jacobs, Pollard, Chubb, Stevenson, Henry, Hall, all the top available. I'm not taking any of them in the first round. I believe, Jacobs would be the top ranked, but he's still at 14. So not a terrible pick here, but I'm not taking Jacobs at 11th overall. We're also definitely not taking Mark Andrews, Hawkinson. So we are just going to take our top wide receiver in the rankings right now. As you saw in the video, for me, when we broke down Adams, Diggs, AJ Brown, I said Devonta Adams slightly wins out there. We can think about ADP. Again, our theoretical ADP, if this were in an actual league, is over here. It is the rankings that we would go by. The thing is, at 17 and 18, the chances that one is there over the other isn't that crazy different. So we would want to just take the one that we feel better about. For me, I feel better about Devonta Adams. We can hope that Diggs is there at our next pick, and he is. So what comes off the board these are going to be very quick turns is CeeDee Lamb and then Tony Pollard. I think I want to start off a bit RB0 here. I still don't feel fantastic, even though Jacobs is at 14, it would be a neutral pick. We'd start off running back, wide receiver, makes us pretty flexible moving on. I'm not in love with it. And I also have Diggs at 11. It just feels like a stronger start for me to lock in, 2, I guess that would be my wide receivers, 5 and 6. My 5th and 6th favorite wide receivers this season. That's a very, very strong core. I think we can figure out running back a little bit later. So that would be my preferred start to this draft. So let's take Diggs, start off RB0, and let's see what happens after that. Going to be a lot of picks that go by between that and our next pick. So pretty even running back, wide receiver it looks like. At running back, Jacobs, Henry, Breece Hall, Stevenson, Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, Etienne, Ken Walker, all come off the board. Wide receiver, AJ Brown, Mona St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle. It's pretty early for Waddle, 209. Higgins, Keenan Allen. That's also early for Keenan Allen. DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Hopkins, Olave, and Deebo Samuel. So a lot of those, only Mark Andrews at tight end. Still no quarterbacks. If anyone from Fantasy Pros is watching these videos at any point, we have selected very high for quarterback. Okay, so we're at 35 overall. If we've selected very high, don't you maybe think that the quarterbacks at 34, 36, 38 would be gone at this point. I don't know. Like in my head, when I'm pushing those buttons, I'm thinking wide receiver honestly has gone very high. That has happened. But I would think running back, you'd push back a little bit. Like we should be expecting, Chubb, Etienne, Walker maybe still be on the board, and those three to be there. So I'm not going to take the quarterback value. We've gone quarterback early in like multiple drafts so far. If this were my like money league or something, you better believe I'm taking one of the elite quarterbacks at the 4th round pick. I would obviously not take one at this one because there's only one player here. So I would take my favorite skill player. If they took a quarterback, so be it. The top 3 are basically the same anyways. I would grab the next one and I'd have a phenomenal start to the draft. Realistically, I would honestly think about Hawkinson, one of the quarterbacks. But we've done that, and I think in a lot of leagues, those 3 quarterbacks will be gone by this pick, so we're not going to do it. Which is kind of unfortunate because we're basically saying those 3 would have been off the board. There would be players here that would be available to us, but let's make it a little bit more difficult on ourselves and pretend that this is the board we're dealt with and those quarterbacks are gone. So not an easy start for us, but let's try to make it harder on ourselves. So if they were gone, we would obviously not take quarterback. Hawkinson would be an option. I'm curious where exactly I have Hawkinson ranked. I have Hawkinson ranked 30th. We're picking at 35 right now, so that's a good value. I honestly feel like I would want TJ Hawkinson with this pick, regardless of if the quarterbacks were there. Just because like this is full PPR. I mean, he could be a PPR monster this season. I feel fully confident that Addison is going to take over all of what Adam Thielen did and more, probably pushes into what Osborne was taking. But I mean, Hawkinson was featured very heavily late last season when he joined the Vikings. He's going to be a stud this season. Very safe pick, very high upside pick. Why don't we just go ahead and make that one here? After that, of course, we have this RB0 start. I'll show you guys who kind of went with the pick after. It was Mahomes and then Godwin. So it helped us a little bit. One of the quarterbacks did come off the board at that spot. I'm looking at running back right now. I'm definitely looking at Aaron Jones. We could continue with RB0 and take a wide receiver, especially because I might look at this and say, well, Amari Cooper, Drake London, DJ Moore, Pittman, McLaurin, Lockett, Christian Watson, even Mike Williams. A lot of them are the same. It's just at our next pick, you're not getting any of them, right? They're probably all going to be gone. And so there will be a drop-off. But remember what we have on our roster right now. We already have Adams and Diggs. Who cares? I mean, realistically, we could just forego the wide receiver position for a very long time. It's not a bad thing to go RB0, take another wide receiver here, have 3 rock solid wide receivers in a full PPR league using the flex. But I would probably only do that if someone was standing out. If we look at the running back position, someone kind of is standing out. I would say that Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, I would not take this early just because of all of the unknowns with if he's getting cut. Seems like he's not going to get traded, but probably is going to get cut by after the June 1st deadline. They're going to save a ton of money doing that. So we'll definitely be targeting Madison late. But if he's getting cut, I don't know where he's going to sign, right? And so that just carries a lot of risk that you could definitely sign to a backfield that just craters everyone, and that's not what we want this early. Pierce hurt a little bit in a full PPR league, although I did go through in the projections, and I noticed I think I was under projecting targets to the running back position for the Texans a little bit, so I pushed a little bit more targets to them. He went up a little bit in the rankings from what we had in the running back rankings video. Mixon, very likely to stay at this point in Cincinnati. No idea if he's getting suspended, but if he does, it won't be that long. So he's in consideration. So it's like Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Gibbs would be a very, very clear top end here. I'm almost 100% sure I'll have Gibbs ranked the highest. I do, right? Yeah. I scroll past his name. There's okay. So I have Gibbs at 20. I have 20th overall. I'm so unbelievably confident that Gibbs is going to have a phenomenal season. I don't 100% know what exactly the split is going to be, but it's very likely they're going to use him like Deebo Samuel. We know that basically the 2 teams that were trying to trade for Deebo Samuel and trade very early picks for him last year are the 2 teams that were linked to Jahmyr Gibbs this year. One of them, the Lions takes him early. They said they were comfortable taking him like 6th overall. They would have taken him. Like, they are unbelievably high on him. They're going to use him as a featured weapon in the offense. And like we've talked about, the Lions are the #1 offense for running back production. You want running backs on the Lions. Montgomery's going to be a stud. Gibbs is going to be just a phenomenal pick. But if we look at rankings, like, and this isn't like unique to Fantasy Pros, even on Underdog, I've been taking Gibbs a ton because they're not ranked that high. I mean, 47th, right? I have him 20th. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get both. I would really like to get both Aaron Jones and Gibbs, or at least 2 of the people I just mentioned. I don't think it's going to happen given all of the picks that are going to go by. I mean, that's like 20 picks that are going to go by. The odds that one of them are there is pretty slim. So if I were risking it, if this were a league where I'm like, I want to try and win it right now, and I don't think people will take him, I would take Aaron Jones, cross my fingers that Gibbs is still there, and then take him there. I don't think it would happen. So we're going to draft Gibbs. It's going to tell us it's a reach. I don't think it's a reach. Actually, it didn't even say it was a reach. But yeah, I really just did not think he'd still be on the board. So we finally see some quarterbacks coming off the board. After we take Gibbs, Aaron Jones goes the next pick. He was obviously not going to be there the next time. Only a few running backs: Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Damian Pierce, Dobbins, a lot of the ones we talked about. 5 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, and then a number of, wide receivers that always go in this range: Cooper, London, Pittman, Lockett, DJ Moore, Judy, Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin. No surprises. Absolutely no surprises. Also, George Kittle comes off the board. We don't care. We have Hawkinson. So we've got 2 picks coming up here. One of them is a slam dunk. It's Miles Sanders, especially in a full PPR league, especially having only taken 1 running back in the first 4 rounds. We're in the late 5th round. This is really, really good value for Miles Sanders. They want to get him involved in the receiving game. And honestly, I don't even know how to push him back. So I have him ranked ahead of the rankings. Actually, let's just see exactly where. Miles Sanders 41, that is the 405. We're at 511. And it's like, oh, maybe you're being, too light on Chuba Hubbard. No, I checked Chuba Hubbard and I'm like 30 spots ahead of ADP on him. Like, I've had to pull both their ADPs back by giving carries and targets to like Blackshear and like that fullback, running back, or whatever they have. I don't even know like some of these kids' names. They're not good. They're not going to get touches, but I can't have both Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard like multiple rounds ahead of ADP. So I think people are just too low on that situation in general. And for Miles Sanders, I mean, like, he's obviously so much better than Chuba Hubbard. There's a very, very good chance that he's like highly productive this season. I know a lot of people have been burned by him in the past, but he's like had really, really good seasons as well. I think people kind of underrate how good of a career he's had so far. So Miles Sanders, I think we'll end up taking him. Do they show? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, last year he had 1,269 rushing yards. That's insane. Like, that's really, really good. He can clearly hold up to a good amount of carries, and you're getting him like pretty late. And again, they've already like discussed publicly that they want to get him as many targets as he was having his rookie season, around like 50 receptions. Like, if he has 50 receptions, he is shattering this ADP. Pull up the draft board. Javonte Williams, Christian Watson go. We wouldn't have been considering Williams, but we would have considered definitely Christian Watson. So we're not going to restrict ourselves from taking quarterback anymore. I feel like I've waited long enough to allow the computer to take some. Where do I have Fields? Fields at 56. That is 508. We're at 602. So value, but not anything crazy. We now have, if we pull up our roster, Gibbs and Miles Sanders. We've got Adams, Diggs, and Hawkinson. So a very, very strong core. And I genuinely would not say we need to lean any position. If we want to take Fields here, we can do it. If we want to go with a running back, wide receiver, we can do it. So does anyone stand out? At wide receiver, Ridley is standing out to me. In the 6th round, I doubt once people see him play in camp, once hype starts rolling in the summer, he'll be available at this spot. Ridley, I have at 40. That's the 405. One pick ahead of Miles Sanders, actually. That's really, really good value. I would say, like, if you wanted to take a chance on Rachaad White or Cam Akers, I would be fine with that. Like, if you have a gut feel that, like, both of them are going to be featured, go for it. Tampa Bay scares me a little bit because I wouldn't be shocked if they end up signing one of these free agents we've just like been scared about for a while. Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, even Kareem Hunt. I don't think they'd go after Kareem Hunt. That wouldn't make sense for a fit perspective. But like if they signed Zeke or Fournette, I wouldn't be like overly surprised if they did that. Probably more Zeke than Fournette. But the point is they could still add someone that would hurt, especially because we don't expect Tampa Bay to be amazing offense. But I would say like Rachaad White would be probably the one you were leaning on amongst the players still available at running back. But because there's no clear winner right now, I think I'm going to lean towards Calvin Ridley. I mean, it's a pretty good value at this point. But again, I would be fine if you wanted to go with Fields. Fields looks like has dropped. Still available at our next pick. So, and we can probably get him at 8 because, I mean, this person has Mahomes. If they want to take Fields and Mahomes, we'll let them, right? So 2 quarterbacks do go, Lawrence and Herbert. A billion wide receivers at this point. I'm probably not going to list them all off for everyone, but what, 4, 8, 12, like 13 wide receivers come off the board in that 2-round span, the 20 picks there. And then we do see Rachaad White, Cam Akers, Swift, James Conner, and Pacheco all come off the board for running backs. So we're on the clock at 7:11. Alvin Kamara is there. But I've seen Alvin Kamara slip a lot recently. People are like losing confidence in him. And at 83, I mean, even on Underdog, like I've been getting him at like 115. So little bit early. Of course, Underdog, you take that hit, having that roster spot not available to you. Likely, I'm just like at this point expecting 6 games. I have nothing that's like driving that. It just in my head, that's what I think is going to happen. And so that's kind of my analysis there. If it ends up being 2, let's say, he'll be a good pick in this range. But even then, again, they have Jamal Williams, they have Kendra Miller. Looking at these positions, though, gotta be a clear standout for Justin Fields. I mean, if no running backs are really standing out, wide receivers, good options, but I wouldn't say anyone's standing out there. Tight end, pretty good options available there, but I mean, we already have TJ Hawkinson, so we don't really need to do that. I suppose, like I said, it's weird that like, so what I said was, we know they took Mahomes. We know they're not going to take a quarterback here, but it's like, I don't even know who I would take really for. I'm not taking a running back. I don't think there's anyone on the running back list right now that I like really want at this spot. We're going to target Madison potentially at this next pick, but a little bit soon. We might be able to get him in the 9th round, which would be a really good value for him. For wide receiver, it's like Pickens. It really like Pickens, Bateman. If you think Tony goes off, Elijah Moore. But many of these players, I guess Pickens, I feel like he typically goes closer to pick like 70. Myers, Bateman, Tony, they seem to usually be available around pick 100. And again, we're pick 83 right now. Yeah, okay. So I think what I should do Pickens, then Fields, then Madison. I think that's how it should play out optimally. If they happen to take Fields, so be it. They'll have taken 2 quarterbacks, earlier than they should. Let's do it. Let's force them to do it to us. All right, they didn't do it to us. When I clicked the button, I was like, you know what? That is something the computer would do. But ends up going through. We're going to take Justin Fields with this pick. We're going to hope that Madison is available at our next pick. It looks like he's going to be. Wonderful. So let's take Alexander Madison. And then we'll probably end up taking a wide receiver at this pick. Pure upside at this spot. I'll pull up the draft board here. And again, a lot of people have asked about Madison because it's looking more and more likely that Cook is going to get cut and that Madison obviously right now is the clear top guy. he's just a good pick in this spot, because people have asked like, okay, where would he be ranked? Right away, it wouldn't reach the top because they can still add someone. Like, I still wouldn't be 100% sure that they're going to go into week 1 with what they have. But if like he gets cut and then we just pretended it was week 1, he's a 3rd round pick. Like in that like 3rd, 4th round sort of range is where he would go. I think he would go closer to the 5th or 6th, just because it would be a little bit risky to push him all the way up to 3, 4. If, again, we don't know if they're going to add someone, because if they did, it would kind of crater beyond that. But they feel confident in him. They also, they like, it's weird. So I was listening to the ETR podcast, and they're hyping up Ty Chandler. But they drafted, and I can't even remember his name. It's like, was it Dwayne? I can't remember. I should probably try and find his name before like saying good things about him. But basically that they drafted a rookie, right? So I don't understand the Ty Chandler hype when they drafted a rookie that I didn't honestly think was good, and that's probably why I can't remember his name. Dwayne McBride, yeah. They drafted Dwayne McBride. So my money would be on McBride. Again, we're going to learn all this in camp, but if you were drafting someone right now to be like, well, who's a good late round pick as like your last pick there, I wouldn't do Ty Chandler. I would do Dwayne McBride. But anyways, we're not going to do that because there's not enough rounds. I like either one of them would still be like if you have like 8, 9 bench spots. It would not be for a 6 bench spot league, which, you know what, why don't in the next mock draft Monday, we'll do a half PPR because we always rotate these. Why don't we load up bench spots? I'll put in like 8. We'll do 8 bench spots. Maybe we'll do 8 bench spots and like 2 flex spots. We'll just load everything up there. Anyways, we're going on a tangent there. We're not going to take a backup quarterback or a backup tight end. Maybe if a tight end fell super far, but it's like, I feel so confident in Hawkinson. And if Hawkinson doesn't work out and we're using that other tight end, like that hurts, right? We just lost our 3rd round pick. We really would like Hawkinson to work out here. Also, round 13 for the bye. Look at that. And these aren't even people on the same team. Looks like Chicago, the Raiders, the Bills, the Vikings. Oh, I guess I had 2 Vikings. All on bye week 13. And that is something I messed up on. It's week 13 and week 9. I did an underdog draft, and the first 2 quarterbacks and first 2 tight ends I took had week 13 and week 9 buys. And so I had to end up taking like another one. That is one thing to check. If you are someone who wants to draft, like translating that to a redraft league, if you wanted to draft a backup quarterback, watch out for week 9 and week 13. Because if you're going to draft a backup, you might as well at that point pay attention to the buys. I never pay attention to buy because you never want to, never even factor it in for like a tiebreaker. Go with what you think the player is going to do because you can figure it out by week 13. Your roster might look very different. But for backing up a position, well, one of those scenarios is like, oh, I'm going to use them when they're on bye. Well, now you're not because they both have the same bye. So that's one of the situations where I would do that. Again, we're going to take 2 running back, 2 wide receiver probably, right? I mean, we have Gibbs, Sanders, Madison. So we only have 3 running backs. We have 4 wide receivers: Adams, Diggs, Ridley, and Pickens. So we'll do, I don't know. We'll see what happens, honestly. We won't lock ourselves into a box there. I think we should take a wide receiver. I don't know. Who's available? I'm hoping they took, let's just get that out of the way. I'm hoping they started to take rookies. Did they at least do that? We told them to, right? It doesn't look like it. I guess Addison goes there. Listen, again, if you work for Fantasy Pros, if you know someone who works for Fantasy Pros, they need to be more aggressive. If you have that many breakdowns where it's like normal, slightly high, a little bit high, sort of high, very high, if I go to very high, you better be just jacking them up. And it doesn't seem like they're doing that. So increase your multipliers. I know how it works in the back end. Increase the multipliers. Anyways, I forgot about that. We're only allowed 2 rookies. So this is starting in round 12. Only 2 of our next 4 picks can be rookies. So how do we want to do it? I want Marvin Mims. I want him in like every single league. Unfortunately, I can never find him. I should really just utilize the stars. I could also control F. I could do a lot of things that I'm just like not doing right now. All right, control F. Marvin Mims. There we go. I don't know why it found him on. Please, thank you. Found him over there. There he is. So we want Marvin Mims. We can wait on that one. Who's another? Maybe a rookie running back that we like. We can use as our other one. If I were to pick one, One that I don't even think shows up on this list, and I wouldn't take in full PPR, but is Chris Rodriguez. I've been starting to like him a little bit more. My model hated him, and I don't think he's that good, and he can't catch. So I'm not selling him very well right now. But in a like standard and half PPR league, they had a 3rd round grade on this kid. I know they're like trying to hype up Antonio Gibson, but they hated Gibson last season. He was playing special teams. Like, they did not like Antonio Gibson. And Brian Robinson was awful. Now, again, we know what happened to him in the preseason. I guess that's kind of like why potentially he was not good, but he was not good. And it's not like we really liked him that much coming out of college. Is there a world where Antonio Gibson like really is relegated to special teams, that they bring in Chris Rodriguez and they're like, he's competing for the majority, not the majority of the touches, but like, having like a small majority, I guess you could say, like having the most touches on the team on the ground? That's a realistic outcome. And he doesn't get drafted at all. His ADP is probably like 250. No one's taking him. So if you want someone super late, go for him. I don't think we need to do that in this one. I would just keep saying Kendre Miller is probably just the one that you'd want to be attacking at this spot. I guess Charbonnet, Kendre Miller. Yeah, we'll just see probably one of those two. So we want to spend that pick on. Jerome Ford would also be a good option for us. Not a rookie, but a younger player that's basically just going to be the number 2 now for Cleveland. But yeah, well, okay. How about we do this? We'll take a wide receiver we like. We'll go to one of those rookies. We'll take Mims, and then we'll take Jerome Ford, and then we'll get out of here. I think that's a good ending here. So who is a non-rookie wide receiver we think has upside? I want all the upside with this pick. I wouldn't say Zay Jones, and we already have Ridley, so I don't want to do that. Honestly, Lazard. I would say Lazard, Wandale. I'm starting to like Gallup a little bit more than I did before, but I'm not sold on him. Dobbs, if he can just take like the number 2 role there. Theoretically, Odell. But I just think the correct pick is probably Lazard. I mean, Rodgers is in love with him. If he ended the season with like 10 touchdowns, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be upset because those should be going to Garrett Wilson, but I wouldn't be shocked. All right, Lazard. Let's go Kendre Miller. Let's go Marvin Mims. Let's go Jerome Ford. And let's be done. Actually, we'll have to take a defense after that. We will take, I don't know. Oh, the Saints. Remember, the Saints have like do they have the schedules up? Oh, they do have this. This is this year's schedule, right? I'm assuming it has to be. It's really just the quarterbacks. Probably Tannehill. I guess something could happen and Will Levis could be the guy. But yeah, Tannehill. You've got a rookie here. You've got Jordan Love. It was Bryce Young for those on the podcast for Carolina. But yeah, it's like Baker, Mac Jones, Stroud. Their first good quarterback is in week 7 when they're playing Trevor Lawrence. But then we go back to another rookie, Anthony Richardson, Fields, who they could just sack a bunch. Like, not good. Like they were very good, and you really only look at the beginning schedule. So the first 6 weeks is really, really nice for the Saints. I mean, the Saints historically have had a decent defense. So my mouse just died there. I had to get that one. That's the end of the team. I like this one. Don't pay attention at all to the grade on this one. They basically think that we are idiots for drafting Marvin Mims, Kendre Miller, Alan Lazard. They didn't like the Madison pick, even though it's a great pick. Don't worry about that. Also, my rankings are feeding into this grade, and I have not given them my rankings since January, something like that. And I don't plan on it unless they reach out to me. So here's the team: Justin Fields, Jahmyr Gibbs, Miles Sanders, Devonta Adams, Stephon Diggs, Hawkinson, Ridley. A very, very strong starting lineup. Defense, Saints, and then we've got Pickens, Madison, Alan Lazard, Kendre Miller, Marvin Mims, Jerome Ford. I feel like that was a realistic team. If you were in a competitive league, we didn't take the easy out in taking, basically like Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. We could have easily had them at 3rd round. Didn't take that easy out. And then we didn't give ourselves, some easy picks late. We went down in ADPs, made sure that it was actually people that we like would get. We would get more Mims that late, Jerome Ford, instead of taking some of these higher ranked players. So let me know what your thought is in the comment section down below. I'll be back tomorrow live 6:30 Eastern to do some underdog drafts with you all, answer any questions you have. So come to that with questions. I don't really remember what the rest of the videos are this week, but I know Wednesday will be a draft strategy video, and then Thursday will be a player breakdown. I probably have to make that actually on Tuesday. So if you guys have anyone you want me to break down, any decisions, put that in the comment section down below as well. That'll do it for this one, folks. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, how about hitting the like button? How about subscribing to the channel if you're new here? And thanks for watching.